Hey everyone, welcome to another review, and today, of course, you can see by the title of the video, we have a review of Oscar de la Renta Pour Lui. Now, Pour Lui is, I believe, a 1980s fragrance, and it's classed as a leather. Now, before we carry on, I don't get much leather out of this. I would call this more of like an aromatic, woody kind of scent. Okay, so let's have a look at the bottle and the box. There is the box, and hello, there's me. Here is the bottle. Now, it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but very nice. It's a very dark blue. It almost looks black in certain lights. Now, you can see through the bottle at the bottom, which is nice, but you can't on the top. So a very dark blue with gold accents, so we've got gold on the top of the cap there, and the writing, etc., and even the sticker on the bottom printed in gold, nothing else on the back, and a gold sprayer, which is very nice indeed. So quite a classy presentation when it comes to the bottle, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to quickly go through the ingredients. Top is aldehydes, lavender, juniper berries, basil, galbanum, sage, caraway, anise and bergamot. In the mid, you've got carnation, patchouli, cinnamon, geranium, cedar, vetiver and glycomin. I don't know how you say that. Then you got on the base, you've got oak moss, leather, labdanum, sandalwood and musk. So I'm going to put it as sort of simple as I can. There's a certain DNA that a lot of classic fragrances have, and it's an accord. A lot of them have it, and a lot of them it's a dominant accord. And if you don't know what an accord is, it's a smell that's made up of lots of different notes to make an accord, as they call it. So, or a certain scent. Now, this one has that. If you've ever smelt old school fragrances, a lot of them have it, and the only way I can really describe it is a sort of mix between a vetiver, patchouli, oak moss and musk. And if you've smelt a lot of old school fragrances, you'll know what I mean. And a lot of them, this accord or this mix is generally the dominant thing or dominant smell in them. And then, of course, they chuck in maybe some citruses and a few other bits and pieces, but they generally quickly go away and die down to the same sort of scent. This one is just that. It's just that, like, accord. It's very recognisable as that accord. Somehow or other, the way they've managed to do this is to make that accord, but make it light. And it's very strange, because this mix of that accord is very strong. It's can be very cloying, and it's the dominant notes or accord in those classic fragrances. Now, this one, as I said, is just that accord to my nose, but somehow they've made it really light and almost airy and like easier to wear. It's weird. It's hard to explain. It's just easier to wear. And it's lighter. They've almost like done a fresh version without adding any citruses or anything. Almost like sort of watering it down, but not watering it down. It didn't really make much sense to my nose, but that's how they've done this, and it works. If you like that old school accord, which I'm on about, and you'll know what I'm on about if you've tried them, but you find it a bit cloying and a bit too heavy for you, try Pour Lui by Oscar de la Renta, this fragrance right here. If you like that bass accord but you don't like the strength of it, this is just that complete accord, but made so easy and light to wear. So for me, its performance, due to this lightness, is about average. It doesn't last all day, but it doesn't disappear like summer fragrance in 2 or 3 hours. Sort of somewhere in the middle. You sort of look like sort of 5-6 hours on skin, and then this fades away. So for me, that's average. So average performance. For its projection off the skin, again, just average. So it's just average over the board. It projects okay for a little while, but then comes more closer to the skin. It lasts a reasonable length of time, but nothing crazy. I would say this is more of a mature person's scent, just due to the actual this accord that it has. Now, if you're someone like, say, Fragrance Matt, he loves old school fragrances, and he's I think he's in his mid to late 20s, somewhere around there at the moment, and he loves stuff like this. So it is a personal thing, scent, of course, but for the average person who's not really into fragrances, say like myself or anybody else who's really into fragrances and Fragrance Matt and that type of person, they would smell this and think, oh, it's old-fashioned. Not necessarily old man, but certainly an old-fashioned scent. So I would say at least sort of 30, 35 plus. If you're not really into fragrances, if you're into fragrances and you love old school, well, of course, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you love something, you love something. Ideally, this, if I would say, could be someone's signature scent. An older gentleman's signature scent who likes to wear like a collared shirt most of the time, and ironically, I have been wearing this at the sort of start of autumn here in the UK in 2021, and I would say this is a perfect sort of autumn scent. It's not too heavy, where it's not exactly cold, freezing cold, but it's not. The temperature's dropping, so you got a chance to wear something slightly heavier, which is again this fragrance, but it's not heavy. So I would say definitely an autumn scent is where you could go with this one, but of course you can wear fragrance all year round. It's up to you, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And like I said, for a more mature person who likes to wear a collared shirt most of the time, I would say it would suit more of a semi-formal to formal dress or occasions. That would suit it better. But of course, if you're going to have something like this with signature scent, of course you're going to use it whenever you like. So what do I really think of this? Well, I've been wearing this for 4 or 5 days now, so I'm going to give it a chance to have a review. I would like to go further and more days with it, but it is what it is. I know I've worn it, I know what it's like, so I'm going to just call this it as a review. But usually I like to go a bit longer when I review something, but I've got the gist of it, and I like it. I like that DNA dry down. A lot of these have, and that's what this fragrance is in it as itself. But like I've said before, they tend to be a lot heavier with that accord of DNA, and that puts me off. I don't like that heaviness in fragrances, and a lot of fragrances have a heaviness that sort of sits on your shoulder and brings you down a little bit, and maybe a bit cloying. But I liked the way that it smelt, but a lot of the time I never wore those fragrances for that reason. Well, this one sorted that out for me. Absolutely sorted that out. That DNA I've got, and I can wear and enjoy without it being heavy. And so for me, I do love this one. So that's it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the video. What do you think of Oscar de la Renta Pour Lui? I know there's a few people. I think Fragrance Matt, there's Scentland, there's a few others that I watched that have given their take on this, and overall it seems to be quite well liked. So leave a comment below if you like this scent, or if you've not tried it, whatever the comment may be, leave it below and I'll answer you if I can. So thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it as always, and I've got some other reviews this week, and if you're watching on the week that I upload these videos, at the weekends I've got a couple of special fragrances that I'm going to try. One I'll be trying out for the first time, and give you a quick review of it on the day, and oh, actually no, two of them really. So there's going to be one sort of Saturday, Sunday, and they're both going to be brand new scents to me. One a vintage, well, I'll say vintage, a discontinued scent from Versace, and a newer scent from Hermes. So a sort of discontinued and a new release review, if you will, or first impressions at the weekend. So I'm going to stop babbling and leave you to it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon on the next video.